this tool is going to be, addressing some sensitive topics. I mean, on a personal level, but also, I guess, on a company-wide level.
Yeah.
I mean, how does it work around that confidentiality and data and stuff?
Yeah, so no, it's absolutely an important question. And I think there's different levels that you have to think about privacy and security on with something like this. So the sort of most basic level is, if you have an AI-powered coach for managers and leaders, well, you want those people to be as open and honest with that coach as possible so it can give them the best guidance. So there needs to be a really clear layer of confidentiality between the coaching conversations they're having and what the primary user, the leadership team, whoever it might be, is given insight into. And so, there's a real clear need for confidentiality there, which we've built into the system. I think then there's also GDPR elements to that, because you're talking about personal information. Again, we've built the system to be GDPR compliant. You then go up to sort of the company level, and there's IP things that you need to think about. So, at no point would any confidential IP, be shared across the system or with us or with anybody else. I think then it's also about, some companies will want even greater security or confidentiality or isolation from the rest of the platform, perhaps for information security reasons or cybersecurity reasons. So I think the key way that we're approaching that is very similar to the way that OpenAI do with ChatGPT. There's sort of a version of the platform where nothing confidential is taken outside of your instance of it, but it trains the algorithm, and then you're able to benefit from other companies' experiences and what it's learned from other environments and things like that. And then there's a version of it where you're completely isolated, and the data that you're putting in it, even anonymized, doesn't train the platform. Either way, the data is anonymized, and there's nothing sort of proprietary that goes outside. But yeah, this is a primary priority for us. It's something that we think a lot about, and we're going to constantly be looking at ways to improve security as time goes on. But yes, we're building in that confidentiality, data protection, security, and sort of corporate IP layer as we build the program.
And of course, this is going to feel counterintuitive now that you've just talked about the importance of privacy and stuff. But I mean, obviously, one of the great things about having access to maybe other cultures and stuff is you can learn stuff from other companies.
Yeah.
Would there be a way of being able to take anonymous data and then learn from it to improve your own company?
Yeah, I think there is. I think companies would have to opt in for that to be to have access to that. But yeah, platforms like this are able to anonymize data, look at trends, and analyze them, and then relate them to other companies. So you could have, Verity could be looking at your company and go, oh, actually, this is very similar to these 10 companies over here culturally, or in terms of this challenge that they're facing. This was the most effective approach to solving that problem here, so let's implement that here. And as it encounters more situations, more challenges, more different types of environments, it's going to get smarter and smarter around those things. So yeah, absolutely. You've got to opt in to take part in it. You don't have to take part in that. But I personally think there's real value in learning from the experiences of others in a way that still remains tailored to your environment. Because, we've seen this over the years that we've been working on culture. There's really only so many issues to solve. There's different varieties of them, and you have to be aware of the nuance. But really, you do see the same things over and over again. So the more you can benefit from the experience of others, I think the more effective it becomes.